Hello, sweet angels. My name is Amanda, your intuitive BFF and Faith Spiritual Girly, and I am back today with another episode of Awaken the Word, a journey into Christ consciousness. So, yesterday we started talking about the bridge between the two worlds. We started really diving into the realm of the ego, of the self made identity, the world that uh, is controlled by fear, where we believe that life happens to us and not through us. And then we started really diving into creating that bridge and how to return to the state of unity consciousness, or what we call Christ consciousness, which is also our higher self embodiment. And the way to shift between worlds, which both are readily available to us at any given moment, and depending on our state of awareness and our state of consciousness, is how can we start to shift from this state of suffering, from this victimhood that we have attached ourselves to gain sympathy. And this is something that I've experienced in my own life, patterns that I have done, because it's easier to fall victim and to play the victim than to stand up and actually to tend to your own wounds at times. But we're not here to live in spiritual infancy. We're actually here to live in spiritual maturity, completely embodying our highest timeline, because we are multidimensional beings where we can have our dream life that we see within our mind's eye. And it is my act of service to help you guys get there, through daily guidance. So, the card that is really coming through today is the King of Cups. So, as you can see, he's sitting there, the fish is jumping out of the water, and it really just brings me to this passage in the Bible, when Jesus says to his disciples, he says, "You will no longer be a catcher of fish, but a catcher of man." And what I believe that means is when we know ourselves so deeply, we can relate to other people. Um, I believe that every challenge, every hardship, every foreseen state of suffering that we have gone through on an individual level, but also on a collective level, is here to help us gain compassion, for ourselves, but also for the world at large. And I today really feel called to talk about, um, deepening that foundation of that bridge. So, how can we continue to move from this one state of being, which again, it's confusion, it's stress, it's anxiety and worry, back to that state of love where we live with peace? Like, peace is our focal point, our center of origin, and it radiates out into our mental body, into our emotional body, into our physical body, and thus that is what creates our world that we see in front of us, is that peace. um, so today it's all about knowing yourself and why that's important, in creating that bridge back to love. So if we don't know ourselves, then how are we supposed to know what is our ego and what is our truth? If we don't know the thoughts that we have that are playing on repeat in our head, how are we supposed to make a change? The more we can understand ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, then the more we can actually do something to shift out of that patterning and that way of being and return back to our divinity. And the first, um, kind of lesson, that I want to talk about with knowing yourself is to understand what feels good in your body and what doesn't feel good in your body. So, like a yes or a no, right? We've all had those gut feelings, that intuitive guidance. And our intuition's always there, but sometimes we don't listen to it because we doubt ourselves. Um, but to get to know yourself, really start to tune in. And I invite you now to tune in to your energy, to even how you're feeling right now. Not putting on an act for anybody, not faking it until you make it, not putting on a fake smile, but just like really asking yourself how you feel in this very moment. So just take a deep breath and just see what comes through. And then as you're starting to hear maybe certain words or feel certain things, um, I invite you to move to that place within the body that you're feeling this word or that sensation. So, for example, right now I'm feeling peace, and I feel a lot of peace in my solar plexus chakra, which is right above my belly button. But I also feel a lot of peace in my sacral chakra, which is right below my belly button. Um, and what I can draw from this or conclude from this is that both my masculine and feminine energies that we have within us are imbalanced, and that I've been working actively on putting out the fires of my masculine energy. So to feel peace within my solar plexus chakra means that um, things are just in alignment right now. And it's a nice flowing cadence and energy that is pouring out of me. So I just want to that I just share that example. But you could be feeling anger, right? Someone just cut you off in traffic. Hopefully you're not listening to this in traffic, but or something happened at work that made you really angry. And I just invite you to go into that place within your body, to identify where that anger is coming from. Because perhaps that anger, let's say it's held within your lower abdomen, um, that could over time manifest, and you could start to experience like major cramping or constipation or gut health issues, because there's anger stored within the body that has yet to be expressed and released. So the more we can kind of come in to ourselves and learn to understand our vibration and what feels good, where our emotions are being stored, we can then begin to work to release them and detach from the emotional experience and surrender it over to our higher self or to God. Um, I go straight to the source because why stop at your higher self? If I want to surrender over an old belief or a negative pattern, I'm going straight to God, the one that created us. But this is a practice that we can begin to really come to understand ourselves, because as we learn to tune into our energy centers, understanding where our emotions are held in our body, understanding what feels good to us, what doesn't feel good to us, what a yes feels like in our body versus what a no feels like in your body, then what can happen is we can start to choose and make decisions that feel good to us. And a simple way to begin to understand what a yes or a no feels like in your body is very similar to the emotional releasing exercise or the emotional identification exercise, is just to quietly just shut your eyes and just ask your intuition to send you what a yes feels like. Ask your body to respond to a yes. And you can even ask it a question like a pendulum, right? Like, my name is Amanda. Okay. So sometimes your body will move back, sometimes it'll move forward. Sometimes you'll start to feel this tingling vibration in your body, symbolizing a yes. Now, if we were to say no, like, my name is Nathan, you can start to almost feel like a trappedness inside your body, or or a tightness or a stiffness, or maybe your body leans another way. So when the more you can come to understand what feels